So they're making a movie about you. Who would you have play your role?
I think I have the answer. However, just quick clarifying question. Is this like set within like current, or like is it like through my life? Current snapshot of like what's going on?
I think current.
Okay. 100% Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Yep.
I need you to explain that.
So in my mind, between the different things that I do, I think it would just be really interesting to get his like ad lib in the moment, like improv of sometimes what in the absolute F is going on, right?
Right.
I think that I think that he would have an interesting showing to that. Also, fun fact, when he did the Al Capone movie, it's blanking my mind now. I got to meet him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They shoot that in Wisconsin?
They shot it in our area.
God, what was the name of that movie?
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Public Enemy.
That is it. Dude, good job, man.
Yeah, I didn't have to edit clip or anything.
Nothing.
This is what it is.
In the moment. Yeah, so I got to meet him. It was a cool night. He was actually in celebrating a birthday, and
how old is Johnny Depp?
I actually don't know. This would have been about a decade ago now.
Siri's not a sponsor. How old is Johnny Depp?
Johnny
61. So you got a guy 61 years old.
That's great. That's 21 years my senior. I like it. And I would. I think he'd do a good job, all things considered, with all the parts of my life. What about you?
The biggest thing is like my personality. Who would be like, who's somebody who would be like fun, but could be serious? You go and then see if we have.
This is the part I'm so not good at pop culture, whatever. But the guy that plays Ted Lasso,
Jason Sudeikis.
Yes, he would knock it out of the park.
Dude, that is who I was like. Okay, he's funny, but he can be serious.
He would great in leadership.
That is great.
Yeah,
that's funny that you thought the same thing.
100%. Yeah. And that's a compliment to your character.
If you're listening to this, I want you to DM us. Who would play your role in your movie? If you're watching this on YouTube, just post it down below. All right, let's jump in. All right, so one thing that I have brought up a lot in coaching sessions is, when we're coaching salons, it's listening, and a lot of salon owners are just wore out. They're just... and us as well. Like there's times where we get wore out. There's times where we personally, like, we have to seek wisdom. Like we have to have coaches as well.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I heard years ago that I use, I think, in every coaching session, and if you get personally coached by me in our growth coaching, you've heard me say this plenty of times. A situation arises in the salon, and I say, all right, is this a systems problem or a people problem?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it's usually 50-50 on how they respond. Yeah. It's like, you know what? This is probably a systems problem. I'm like, all right, what do we need to do to make sure that, because if it's a systems problem, that's an easy one, right? If it's a people problem, it's like, okay, do we have the right people? For instance, let's just say, hey, this is every salon. I can't get my team to like clean up. Like we have a list, we have all the, I'm like, okay, systems or people? Very rarely do I hear it's a little bit of both, but it's usually a systems problem. They're like, well, I printed it out. I have a sheet.
Right.
And I told them to do it. It's like, well, that's not a system.
Right.
Like it's something that we have to talk about and elaborate on. So anytime we get hit in our own company, I'm like, is this a systems problem or a people problem? Especially right now. I mean, I thought we had good systems in 2021 and I think we have good systems now, but I know in 3 or 4 or 5 years, I'm going to look back and be like, man, like we keep building, because for the company to scale, you got to have systems, because we do believe that salon owners should be available, visible, and valuable in the salon. But for you to scale your company and for you not have to be there all the time. You got to have systems.
Yeah.
You know?
So I love this one. Last night when I got back late, it was after we closed. We have a backboard that we do tracking for your last month's business, just some really core KPIs, nothing intense. And our system on this is that it's done by the 5th. And I got in after close last night, and I walked into the salon. There's a number of things I just look at, like, okay, how sharp are we at close, right? Because the better we close, the better we open, right? And I walk in the back and I'm like, okay, done. Just the normal things that I see that get missed sometimes. And I was like, done, cool. Walk in the salon, flick on the lights. I'm like, all right. And we're right now with at 5 years, we don't require a team to work Saturday, so we've condensed our whole team onto one Saturday just for experience. So today is the day that we're closed, and this salon was perfect. It was, every chair was where it needed to be, mats all aligned, the closing was sharp, and it was something that I told myself. I was like, okay, hey, like this is working. Like when the idea would be, teams didn't know I was going to go in late last night, right? And the reason that I was in late last night was that we have the policy is that the board is filled out by opening on the 5th, and we're not open today. So like even me, like I want to make sure that I have, my portion filled out. But, the main thing I go there though is, Evan, that board has been an evolution of 10 years of doing that type of tracking to figure out what's the right blend that's like, KPI tracking. And then also like, how do we share in the team? Like the one of like, who can you shout out or where do you need support? That is the biggest thing that I look at. I see who's being shouted out. That lets me know who is really pouring into the company right now, and then watching for who needs support. So like, I think you also say that, I gave you a lot of shout outs this last week in calls. Watch the Fathom recording. One of them is that, systems should really serve the people. And being that everyone had it filled out in the way that they had it filled out, I can imagine that when they're proud to put down their KPIs, because we had a number of people hit best yets. And then that shout out part, right? Like that's a really good system and it serves the people. So I'm curious for you. So like what would be something recently that in a salon that we're working with, what was something that was brought up as to like, hey, like you could build a system like this for that problem? Like, do you have any that come to mind right away?
Like a recent system that we put in?
Or like, yeah, either in Silver Salon or with anyone that we're coaching.
Yeah. There was a system that we just recently put into the salon. It's not coming to mind. If I was on If You Want to Be a Millionaire or whatever that show was, I would phone my wife right now and be like, what was it? She would tell me.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I know, wouldn't it? So we have hot, wet towels for deep treatments. Yep. We also have hot, dry towels for the guests. So after a shampoo, they get a warm towel. I know I didn't know that till like I got my haircut the first time in our new space, and I was like, oh, what is this? So I love it when things are happening when I don't even know. But we spray this essential oil. It's in a bottle, and we spray it on the dry towels and we put it in there. Well, the stylist went to go get a towel and there was no towels in there. So she was like, hey, we need something to put the towel, like people are not replacing the towels. And so actually I take that back. She went to go grab a towel and it was not hot. It was just put in there. So we're like, well, what do you think? And that's one of the strongest things a leader can say. What do you think? She's like, well, I think we need to pull from the left side, put the towels in on the right side. So if you always pull from the left, you're going to get the one that's been in there the longest. We're like, great. Can you let the team know? She said, yeah. So we have a meeting every morning. And so she brought everyone into the shampoo room and said, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. Did not come from Aaron, did not come from myself, which was really cool. It was kind of like a proud papa moment. Another thing that we've implemented recently was we have our morning meetings, and I love that I think Aaron came up with this, or actually, I think it was one of our stylists came up with this. so we have a morning meeting.
Yep.
And we all start at the same time. Most salons don't start at the same time. People come in at 8, 9.
Yeah, y'all have a special thing in that way.
I'm not saying one's right or wrong. It just works for us. But this is a tool that salons that come in at different times, I think this would serve them well. So our afternoon crew, one of our stylists, Olivia, said, hey, could you guys record the meeting audio in the morning and post it on Slack, which is our group text messaging?
Yep.
I was like, that's brilliant. So every morning, we'll record the meeting. We'll pass the phone around.
Yep.
Update it to Slack. It's very simple. And then the afternoon crew goes underneath there and says, hey, here's my goal, or here's my goal for today. Here's my success from yesterday.
So they're joining in now.
They're joining in.
And they never used to get to.
And we would always forget about the afternoon meeting. Not always, but a lot of times it's like, oh, crap, we forgot the meeting. So now for us to take that away, one of our stylists approached, hey, can you just record it? And we'll put in the...
Brilliant.
And it, dude, is so great. And you know what's great? They posted this morning on a Saturday.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, Erin listened to it on 2x speed. Just brrr, and she knows what everyone's success was yesterday and everyone's goal for today. So like that's a systems issue.
Yeah.
That where I sat at the table, I didn't see that issue because where I'm sitting at the table, that doesn't really affect me. But with Liv sitting at the table where she's at, then she says, hey, this is an issue. And she brought it to me. So a lot of times, like as leaders where we sit, we don't get to see a lot of the issues. So like when you bring in new people in the company, I'm like, you sit in a different seat at the table. Yep. You're going to see things that I don't see, but vice versa. I'm going to see things that you're not going to see as well. So like we need to have communication.
I love that you bring that up. You know, and I think the other part is, I think this was a step of my leadership in growing. As I was walking through the salon, we're resetting our waiting area. And I came into it and personally, I think the layout of it is awkward and it's horrible. However, though, the thing I thought in the moment was I was like, okay, what happens if you put your perspective in and that was someone else's first idea forward? I would kill that momentum. So in the moment of it, I was like, hey, I imagine that this is a work in progress. I think it's not going to be the end way that we see it to be, but they changed something.
So one of your...
Someone on the team.
Oh yeah, I've had that done.
Yeah.
Where I do something like I change retail and I come back and it's completely different.
Yep.
And I'm like, who did this? But I'm going to say like inside, I'm like, really, this doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
Was that kind of...
Well, it was yes, different. It was different, but it, like I said, it personally, it just, if I walked into it, it felt awkward. But in the moment of it, I was like, okay, what's the big thing here? Like if I get a review that someone's like, and by the way, great service, but whoever thought to put the bench there, idiot, right? And genuinely, I'd be like, no, that's bogus, right? Like, right? And I think in that way of it, you know, as we develop the systems, I think where I'm at right now is just learning like art of allowance. Like, hey, it's maybe not the best yet that it's going to be, but it's changing from what it was. And if I know that you and I believe in this deeply, which is like when you say, no, we've always had the waiting area like this. Right. So like it was in that moment of it, I was like, I don't personally like this, but I celebrate whoever did it because they're trying to change it here. And I had no hand in it. Right. So it's kind of unique in that way.
And if you would have went in there and changed it.
Oh yeah.
Then you're not going to get much creativity out of the team because they're like, don't do it because Christopher's going to come in.
Chris is a jerk.
Yeah, he's going to change it anyway.
Yep. All right. Hey, shameless plug. We want to continue to serve. Check out the App Store. Type in The Refined Network. It's available both on Apple and Android. Here's the thing. It's a way that we can continue to serve you. All of our podcasts, all of our digital resources, and our community is there. Here's the thing. We believe that we're better together. Back to the episode.
You know, I'm thinking back, and if you have anything, because I know this is kind of more of a touchy subject, but like, what if you have the right systems, but it's a people problem?
As my best self and as my best leading self, I think I'd first begin with going to say to the people like, hey, my understanding was that we had all agreed on this and it's not being done. What that's telling me is either it isn't working the way that I thought it was, that we've changed, that we all collectively think this is not important, or the third, which would be the worst one, is that we're choosing to like be willy-nilly about it and not consistent. And my story is that it's probably one of the first two. But try and like figure out, what it is. When you see a large, it always happens in large companies, large corporations. They'll do something. You can see that the employees don't like the process of it, and you can see that it's inconvenient for the customer. And that always tells me someone that has no relationship to whatever that is made a decision in one company.
They're so far removed, they don't even see it.
So if it is, by going in, I think with the idea of like, hey, help me see something I might be missing. Because if it ends up being the person, you're actually going to lead them there versus, hey, gosh, Evan, man, you're not doing the thing. And we talked about it. What's wrong with you, Evan?
The thing.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think when it comes to, and we teach this in our leaders retreat. So this might be a pre-meal if you come to our leaders retreat. But the reason people are not doing things, the reason people aren't doing things is because they don't have enough training, they're lazy, or they're incompetent. So like when people have a people problem, okay, I'm like, does this person need more training? 95% of the time, yes. Well, I told them that they needed, okay, well, maybe the way that you communicated, or maybe you said in a group setting, like maybe you need to sit down and say, hey, I noticed you haven't been like cleaning up after yourself or doing towels. Is there anything I can do to help, communicate that to you or help remind you? Then the second one is you got lazy. They're just lazy. They don't want to do it. I think a percentage falls into that as well. And the last one is they're incompetent. Like, I think when it comes to like, if we're using the cleaning issue, is that most people I did hear one salon owner say that she had an associate that never used a broom before.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard. Yes,
that's shocking to me.
So yes,
I wouldn't say they're incompetent of using the broom. They just need training,
right?
But there's been very few times where I'm like, is this person incompetent? Like they cannot do X, Y, and Z. So you either got a systems problem or a people problem. If it's a people problem, are they need more training? Are they lazy? Or they're incompetent? So that was a lot in this segment.
Banger. And if I can add one thing to that, I just recently learned this about myself. Even for me to say the word lazy is very hard for me.
Really?
Yeah, very hard for me. Very hard. So when it is on the other side of the street, like I had someone on my team, and the last year we were having this conversation. She goes, "Oh no, I'm lazy about that." I was like, "Wait, say that again, one more time." And they said it again. And I was like, "How do you say that?" They're like, "It just is. Like I know myself, and I know that I don't care about that." And I was like, "Oh." So the thing that I learned about that was when things happen and I identify that, that's actually triggering to me as a leader because I cannot.
Oh, so you're saying the word when people say lazy.
Yeah. So when it is a laziness problem, that's even more like my brain is like, what do you mean? No, like at night, the sun is down. You cannot convince me that the sun is up. The moon might be shining, but the sun is down, right? In that idea of if it is something that is lazy, my brain is just like, nope, we don't do lazy. Others can though, right?
Yeah, but like think about, I'm looking at this Hilton hotel that's in front of us. There's a large window. Like they would, if I went to go work there, they would be paying me an hourly wage or a salary.
Yep.
I would never say, oh, I'm just lazy when it comes to that.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you're paying me.
Right.
But I don't really want to do that.
Yeah. And to be clear, like the thing that this teammate and I were having a conversation on, it was something like outside of the salon, but it was something that like in their style of just as a human, they were able to say, I was like, I can't apply that to anything. So that's where though, and the reason I shared is I found, I was like, okay, when I find that with a person in the company, I have to be really, really well aware that that doesn't mean anything about me. And also like to not let it trigger me. Cause I'd be like, we don't have laziness here. Like, oh, so everyone has to be like you. That's not also what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if we have a collective understanding and a shared agreement that something is a standard and expectation, we execute on that. Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's end it there. Thank
Boom.
you guys for listening.